It's been a tough couple of years for Konami's Silent Hill. Ever since the whole Kojima and PT incident, they seem to have no clue what to do with the series. A pachinko machine and laughably embarrassing interactive story game that was totally made by AI made many fans worry that this may be the end for the franchise. But thank Pyramid Head Silent Hill manages to not only pull the series out from the gutter, but also reminds everyone why Silent Hill 2 is one of the best survival horror games of all time.
Run!
You play as James Sunderland, a grieving husband who receives a letter from his wife asking him to meet her in the town of Silent Hill. The only problem? She's been dead for over 3 years. Oh, and the town is filled with monsters straight out of your worst nightmares. Much like the recent Resident Evil and Dead Space remakes, Silent Hill manages to outdo and outshine the original by redefining the experience both in gameplay and aesthetics without compromising what made the original so iconic. The people you meet in town perfectly showcase the new graphical direction for the series. Everybody makes you question not just who they really are, but their purpose and deeper connection to James. Especially James himself, whose revamped design adds a new layer of depth and emotion. James isn't a battle-hardened survivor accustomed to most survival horrors. He's just a man who became broken over the loss of his wife and guilt that quickly followed. Although some of the dialogue did tend to veer a little into campy side, the vastly improved voice acting honestly had me feeling bad for James at times whenever he's interacting with anyone or piecing together the mystery behind Mary. It plays perfectly on the themes of atonement and grief, but it doesn't end there. The various different monsters you'll encounter are some of the most well-designed and terrifying things I've seen in recent years. Common enemies like the lying figure, nurses, and mannequins have somehow made their already scary designs even scarier, constantly keeping me on my toes and highlighting Silent Hill 2's new approach to combat. Much like every other horror remake after Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2 does away with the hard, stiff auto-targeting and increasingly encumbered inventory from the original, in favor of a more modern over-shoulder manual targeting and quick D-pad weapon swapping. They even added some surprisingly interesting features, such as breakable sections of the environment to reveal new areas or quick dodging to nimbly avoid incoming danger. Either it be the lying figure slithering and sneaking on the ground to prepare a surprise attack, or the mannequins who would blend into the environment to catch you off guard, I always had a sense of claustrophobia and paranoia wherever I went, especially when I entered the other world or any of the many dark areas. These areas highlight Silent Hill 2's new incredibly unsettling audio designs. Little things like eerie shrieks in the distance, rustling of unknown moments, or radio static indicating an enemy is close, left me with a lingering sense of dread and paranoia, even more so when I could barely see 2 feet ahead of me. Although some may hate the fact that James' flashlight only lights up what's directly under his nose, I think it works in enhancing the constant feel of claustrophobia, especially during some of the later encounters in Silent Hill or any of the many interesting approaches to boss encounters. In the original, boss encounters attested to little more than shoot the big bad monster until it goes down. Here, however, it seemed to completely redesign some of these encounters to make them more modern and engaging. From simple overhauls like your first encounter with the iconic Pyramid Head, to later game bosses that had us playing cat and mouse, or others which we won't spoil here. But this town isn't all filled with positive enhancements. Silent Hill is known for its intricate, unique puzzles, and it's comforting to know many of Silent Hill 2's puzzles keep that same uniqueness. Unfortunately, some of these puzzles have been given a few extra requirements to make the solutions a little bit less predictable for those who experienced the original, and it comes off as needlessly padded. In fact, there were quite a few times during my playthrough where the story progression got weighted down with needlessly padding that made me wish Pyramid Head would just hurry up and take me already. Silent Hill 2 is a beautifully creepy reimagining of the original that highlights a lot of what made it so iconic in horror and amplifies it in every way possible. The audio keeps you on your toes wondering what could be lurking around the corner. The atmosphere is genuinely terrifying, never knowing what to expect next. The characters and monsters add a new definition to combat encounters and survival horror storytelling. Although I wish they could have changed up some of the old quirky dialogue and smoothed out a lot of the story padding, it does little to ruin the feeling of this incredible remake and finally brings Silent Hill back on top as survival horror's most iconic and influential series. A heartfelt spooky 9 out of 10.